Is Linus Tech Tips over? Is he really leaving us? And more importantly, how will you survive without your 25th consecutive video this month about which cooling system is better?
Companies eventually outgrow the leadership of their founders, and it looks like my time is now. Effective July 1st, 2023, after 10
That's really fast.
wild and very eventful
Really
years,
soon.
I will be stepping down as CEO of Linus Media Group, Creator Warehouse, and Floatplane Media.
Did he get bought out?
Sure, you have a lot of questions, and I'm going to try to answer them all here.
Okay.
Like, why now? What's going to happen to the channels in the lab? And if not you, who's going to be around?
It's gonna be a FaZe Clan 2.0 situation.
Everything is being deleted. I already know what's gonna happen. Everything's getting deleted. It's
Good.
gone, guys. It's over. We had a good run. Everybody has to send their screwdrivers back so they can pay the last month's rent on the building, and that's basically it.
Good times.
It's done.
To tell us
That's all,
about our
folks.
sponsor.
The Ridge. Father's Day is coming
Sponsor?
up. Luckily, Ridge is having one of their biggest sales of the
actually
year.
picked up
Give
one
the
of these
dads in your
before.
life a unique and functional Ridge wallet or key case so they can do dad things like brag about their wallet and keys. Check the Ridge out at the link below and make dad proud.
The truth is
I'm gonna say this even though because of this, Ridge will never ever sponsor me in the future. Ridge wallets are for 10-year-olds, okay? The Ridge wallet is for literal 10-year-olds. It has a money clip. Money clip! Money clip! If, you know, not a lot of things make me think about a lot of stuff. Not a lot of stuff can happen that will make me feel uncomfortable, or, you know, if someone's laughing at me, I typically will absolutely never care. But if I ever pulled a Ridge wallet out in public and I used the money clip, I would probably introduce my head to the business end of a force multiplier, you know what I mean?
I have had the same wallet since 2003.
I was never really cut out to be a CEO. I remember putting it on my business cards in the early days when we had only 4 employees, thinking, this
CEO.
feels ridiculous. And I've never really outgrown that. I'm a lot of things. I'm a bottomless pit of creative energy,
That's
an
nice.
excellent motivator and speaker,
That's nice.
Okay.
wicked smart, charming, really funny.
Okay, this
But
is for
in
Tinder?
addition to those strengths, both real and imagined, I have a lot of weaknesses, and chief among them is that I've just never really had the attention to detail or the temperament that it takes to run an organization this large. I touched on some
Okay.
of this during my infamous 10 million subscriber stream, but the truth is,
Yeah,
He
that's
has 10 million
definitely true.
subs.
I mean, I can see that. I mean, like, for me, it's like every
I thought he has more.
person, like for OTK, right? Like, I don't make a lot of decisions. I just know who can make good decisions, you know? Because, like, I'm always focused. Like, for me, like, I look at, I'm going to do what I'm best at.
Boo,
and what I'm
lies.
best at is being on camera, doing stuff, popping off, and making my videos, right? So I do my best, and then everybody else does their best.
You see, this is why I tell you Asmongold is depressed. This is why I tell you he's not happy with his life. Because imagine you so fully understand that you are the lead, because he's the 51% shareholder of OTK. He is the undisputed, definite leader that can do anything he wants. And yet, he understands that he is completely incapable, and he understands that it's pointless for him to even try to understand what's happening. Oh, Asmon, I really pity you at sometimes, my dude. You know, not a lot of people become millionaires, but even less people become millionaires and then are unhappy with themselves about it. You know, touch grass, you know, find a hobby, you know, something like that. Something that actually fulfills you, not constantly reminds you that, yeah, I'm technically doing real good in life, but I'm not actually doing anything that matters. Everyone needs to find something that they think matters and do it.
And that's the smart thing to do. Play to your strengths.
while I did manage to wrap that up with a positive message about finding motivation to move forward,
Yeah.
none of those feelings I talked about ever went away. I wasn't
Yep.
built for this, and I'm tired. Like, really can't do this anymore. I'm
Second
tired.
guessing yourself
And
is
if
a
I try to
key.
drag myself through another 10 years of business administration, I know I'm going to destroy myself and probably end up killing the company and the community that I love so much in the process. I'm at my best.
I can understand that.
Pitching new content or product ideas, or when I'm problem-solving ways to wipe garbage sites like User Benchmark out once and for all. And
What is
how
User
it works.
Benchmark?
No.
none of that stuff is going to be going away. My new role is going to be Chief Vision Officer, which is a stupid, like, BS-sounding made-up.
I just made that one up.
That's how. That
Yeah,
does sound
somebody made
like
this new
that,
one
yeah.
up for me. No, I like this. This is actually real CVO. I like that. Yeah, it's smart. I think that's actually a really good idea, right? And
If he
it's
wants
just-
to do it, yeah, I guess.
it's smarter for him to let somebody else do a lot of the, business specifics, where he can focus more on the creative specifics and like the direction of the company in that way. Like this is a
I don't understand, honestly, these people. Because they are making one crucial mistake here. Linus Tech Tips company is probably not on the market, right? They don't have shares, they don't have stonks, any of that good stuff, So he is technically still the sole proprietor of that company, or the majority proprietor of that company, which means he doesn't need to have a position. I never understood this, these people giving themselves positions. Usually in a business, this is how it happens if it's not on the market. You either do not have any position in your company, or you are the CEO, because depending on your country's taxing, maybe being the CEO is more lucrative, or maybe not being the CEO is more lucrative. It depends on your country. These people, like Asmongold, does not need to have an official position in OTK. Because the truth is, when you're the owner of a company, you can literally go up to anyone and say, this is what we're gonna do. And if they say no, you just fire them. You don't need to be a CEO in your own company to have 100% full ownership of everything that happens in it. I never understood why these people do it like that. You don't need to be a CEO. You can get someone who's a CEO and they, give you a quarterly report of what's happening and an overview of things. And in the meantime, you can direct everything that happens. The direction, the products, the content, everything. I don't understand why these people don't do that. They're acting like this is not even an option most of the time.
smart thing for him to do.
But I think it really is the best one. We thought about creative officer, but that didn't really encompass what I'm going to be responsible for, because my gut and principles are what got
Maintains
us to where we are
ownership. Oh, he
today.
probably
So
will.
I'm still going to be
Okay.
charting the path that I think makes sense. We don't want to lose our moral compass. But when it comes to the details of how to best utilize our resources to get there,
He sounds lost,
need some
honestly,
help.
to me.
I'm sure you have a lot of questions right now, like who our second sponsor is. Just kidding. We're going to get to that later. First, I want to talk about what isn't... Did I really write that? Sorry. First, I want to talk...
He scripts his videos? That's crazy. I haven't
Probably,
scripted
yeah.
a video since like 2018.
That's a lie, by the way.
Oh my god.
about what isn't going to change. And the biggest one is the rest of our leadership team. Yvonne and I spent the last 6 months working with them on my replacement, which included
Yvonne?
having him work for us on a contract basis to ensure that they feel he is A,
That's smart.
a competent manager, and B, the kind of person who can comfortably integrate into our team.
It's
They're
so hard to find people that make good decisions and aren't assholes. Like, you think that it's easy, and then you put them in a situation that's stressful, and you find out that, man, this is just not working as well as I thought it would.
This is what everyone understands sooner or later. I have said this before, but this is a great thing that people don't understand in life. You know that CEO that literally just sank a multi-billion-dollar company with their dumbass decisions? The truth is, he's gonna go out the door and be the head of a next multi-billion-dollar company and maybe sink it also, because someone who has been at the helm of a company for like 5 years or whatever, of a multi-billion-dollar company, the reality is, even if they end up sinking it, they are still 100% without question the best next in line for the next country over the average person who doesn't have any experience in that. That is the whole hard truth of reality.
You know, like, that's it.
Maybe
You
continuing
usually
to
give
work
up.
alongside him to ensure that this transition goes as smoothly as possible.
Think you do, but you
The
don't.
next thing that isn't going to change is me. I am not going away. You can expect to see me on camera just as much as you used to. I mean, ideally, maybe more. Since if all
Yeah.
goes according to plan,
He doesn't
I'm
have
going to
to
be
deal
left
with
to
that
do what
much
I do
stuff.
best,
Yeah.
which is engage with our community, that's you, and create. Speaking of which, I'm going to be doing a Q&A session about this with the community in the next week or so. Make sure you're signed up at floatplane.com/LTT so you don't miss it.
Oh, that's
Also
cool.
not changing, our ownership structure. Yvonne and I are still the sole shareholders and directors of the company. So there hasn't been some kind of corporate buyout.
So Linus Tech Tips wasn't the single guy thing? Because I don't watch him. I don't know anything about computers. I think it's witchcraft, and I literally could not care less if I knew more or less.
That's going to force us to sell our souls to cover their purchase investment. We did have a substantial offer recently to sell out, and I might as well speak plainly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. This is like, I remember there was an article or something written about how Linus he turned down a $100 million offer. I'm gonna be
Yo,
real.
that's so little! Isn't he the big... I don't know how many subs he has, but doesn't he have, like, more than 10 million? I'm pretty sure he has more. Again, I don't watch him, so I don't know this. But I do, even if I don't know anything about computers or care about these subjects, I still know that Linus Tech Tips is literally the biggest brand in, I don't know what to call it, computer technology, computer revaving, smarts, things like that, I don't know. But he is the biggest. Offering 100 mil for something like that is pretty much the equivalent of honestly a spitting on him. The offer for his YouTube channel and his brand and influence should be in at least 1 billion. At least 1 billion. And if he has, well, now it seems he has 3 companies or something, so it most likely is going to be at least 2 billion if we're being completely real, okay? BuzzFeed, after the collapse, got bought for free, but even then they technically allowed them to escape a 200 million loan, and BuzzFeed's complete garbage without actual any impact or strength. And then we're talking about the #1 tech channel on YouTube. This guy literally makes or breaks anything that he does a video on. And 100 mil for that, that's pathetic.
I think that, why? Because it was nothing.
Yeah.
No, it's not crazy. Like, I don't think that
Even OTK, most likely, which is an extremely poor brand, honestly, is worth most likely like at least 300 million.
people understand how much money media companies make and how much money media companies are worth. If I was going to value the Linus Tech Tips brand,
15 mil,
I
that's
would be
a lot.
thinking somewhere between minimum $400,000 to $600,000. It
Low.
could even be more than that. They got lowballed so hard. Of course he turned it down. Sorry, million. I said, bro, God, y'all fucking know what I'm trying to say, right? I meant million. Yeah, his offer says 100. I know, that's what I meant. Yeah, $400 to $600 million. I fucked up. It is what it is. But yeah, overvaluation of Media Classic. Well, is it really an overvaluation if this overvaluation's been going on for like 100 years? Like, maybe it's just you have a different viewpoint on it.
Yeah.
But the truth is that, I mean, media companies like this, especially with like such a great reputation that they have, and but this is, it was that little thing was just getting to me. It's just the reputation that they have, and like the quality of work they do, the amount of views they get, etc. Like, Linus Tech Tips is one of the biggest YouTube channels on the entire platform, and YouTube's one of the biggest platforms on the entire internet. So Linus Tech Tips, I wouldn't be surprised if Linus Tech Tips got more people watching and more people paying attention to it worldwide than CNN does.
That's almost pretty sure, absolute 100% guaranteed. CNN is already technically outdone by a couple of YouTube news channels. Viewership-wise, they actually get outdone monthly. Like, you know, they're just called legacy media, and that's pretty much all that gives it their value.
So you'd say CNN is probably $1 billion company, right? But Linus Tech Tips isn't? You think about it like that. Yeah, he's got other... Yeah,
way
and again,
bigger
it's a
than
network,
billion
right?
still.
Because you open this shit up. Take a look at this, right? So let's go channels. So we've got
Oh,
one,
he has
two.
more channels. Gee. Yeah, this... Yeah, easy 2 billion. Easy 2 billion from serious offer. And by the way, when I say serious offer, I actually mean serious. Because a shitty company is gonna actually, like, lowball Linus Tech Tips in like, seriously, 500k, which is still laughable money.
3, 4, 5. I don't have that many fingers. 6. Or actually, that would be 7.
They're just movies?
Like, you got 7 channels. Like, collectively, this is 20 million subscribers,
super
right?
fun.
And each of these views, like, each of these videos is 1 million fucking views on every video.
Dude, not even that. Look at this. 1 million views, 1 million views, 2 million views. But they release multiple videos a day. This is insanity.
So, like, yeah, plus other languages,
Wow.
etc. I thought it was 70 added more than 8 channels. He might have more than 8 channels, and that might be just however many it allows him.
Oh, and by the way, if anyone's wondering, the price that you would buy something like Linus Tech Tips is also hugely influenced by potential. The fact that Linus Tech Tips is not even using his full brand. You know, he's not even using his full brand potential. He has the money to actually do the Mr. Beast thing and make everything in Spanish, make everything in Chinese, make everything in Japanese. Did I say Chinese 2 times? No, Chinese and Japanese, you know. He has all of this power to do it, but he doesn't. Which means there's a huge, unbelievably vast loss of potential in his channel from a business standpoint.
To have. So, yeah, I mean, it's just... It's not even a question that he was worth, like, not him individually, maybe. I don't know what his percentage is, or I have no idea, it doesn't matter. But, like, the company and the Linus Tech Tips brand, I think, is worth like, multiples more than $100 million.
At the minimum.
Like, multiples.
The offer was $100 million, 60% cash, 40% shares in the acquiring company. Basically, it was enough to...
Oh, by the way, also, a thing about these offers and these prices, not everyone is willing to buy it, so the price is... So that's the thing about price. You can be evaluated at $2 billion by, you know, I don't know, Bloomberg. Well, Bloomberg's a horrible source, I guess. JP Morgan. That's a good source. JP Morgan evaluates you at $2 billion. Well, that's JP Morgan, and you're gonna probably say it's $2 billion at the minimum, right? But maybe people only want to buy you for 500k. That's also something to be considered.
To live in a beachfront hotel for the rest of our lives, for our kids to do that, and for our kids' kids to do the same. We decided not to take it.
That
and
sounds
there were a few
boring.
reasons for that.
Yep.
First is that, honestly speaking, it wouldn't really change our lifestyle much. I mean, what are we going to do? Buy an even bigger house?
Yeah.
An even faster car? I mean, that's
You're
never
gonna
really
get
been us
arrested.
anyway. Second is because we love this company and the people in it. And I just don't think our mission's complete yet. I'm not sure that it will ever be. My point is just that our attitude towards money, so make lots of it and keep reinvesting and building this thing to do even better, it's not going to change, and you're not going to see the kind of short-term thinking that comes from investor pressure. Our long-term thinking is just going to come from
that's good.
this guy instead. On that note, then let's talk about what does change. And this is actually mostly for the benefit of my team who's watching this.
Way.
But
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And he also owns Floatplane, a video stream platform only for subscribers that makes a big plus. Yeah, you're just doing the same thing you'd be doing anyway. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't want to go and, you know, like, have a, like, there's never going to be a point where I'm going to be worried a lot about money. Like, obviously, there are times that I have,
True.
like, if I have to pay my taxes, it's like, fuck, right? Because that's a percentage. But the truth is that that's life, right? I mean, that's just the way it goes. And, you know, I've never really wanted a lot of expensive shit. So whenever I don't have it, it doesn't really matter a lot to me, you know?
This is what everyone, by the way, says. Just this is what poor people do when they get into money. Some of them are really, really apprehensive about using it, but the moment they start using it, it's absolutely over. Oh yeah. So maybe that time will actually come for Asmongold the moment he starts actually using that money in and I mean a serious manner. I mean actually like buying things that he wants, expensive stuff that he never thought he could own in the first place, you know? When people start to understand, wait a minute, I can do that, people change a lot.
No, like, I don't give a fuck. So yeah, I mean, similar to Mr. Beast turning down 1 billion, yet everyone called him crazy, but once you break down his reach, all the platforms, he's worth more than $1 billion.
Of course,
exactly.
Mr.
Like,
Beast
who
was
that
way
dude that
more
sat
$1
down
billion.
And broke down the Mr. Beast the brand value.
No idea, but Mr. Beast were just $1 million. He's probably 10 billion. He's probably 10 billion. And there's a reason, by the way, there is a huge difference between Mr. Beast and Linus Tech Tips in audience, so you also need to remember that.
Like, I forgot
This is
who it was,
insane.
but I thought it was really smart. I watched that video. And, yeah, it was just... I think, obviously, like, when a lot of people have... Like, especially whenever you're not part of the guy in a podcast... Yeah, there's a guy on this one podcast that did it. Whenever you're not in the business, right, and you don't do this kind of stuff, it's like, it's hard to really judge, like, how much something is worth unless you have a lot of experience with it. So... I mean, like 60% equity, like let's assume he's got 10 to 20% of that. So that's 60 million, 10% of that is 6 million, right? So $6 to $12 million he would get out of that. That's a lot of money, but you know, how's that really going to change anything? What would you do without Versace underwear? Yeah, exactly. Ultimately, the brand's only as much as the people think it's worth. It's not gold or fiat. It'd be extremely volatile. Yeah, it definitely can. And I think that that's why usually people that take buyouts like that, there's like a 4-year thing where they have to continue running it and they just get the money for it. So like
No, depends on the contract. Some companies just instantaneously buy it out and completely ignore the old direction, which made them, you know, all that fame and everything in the first place. And then they regret it. It's pretty funny. Again, we have a great example, the FaZe Clan. And, well, actually, everything that is. I never did a video on this, but I watched Nadeshot be sad about the FaZe thing that happened. And that literal imbecile, that 0 IQ dunce, said that every 7th kid in America knows what FaZe Clan is. Jesus Christ, to be that stupid. FaZe is worth cents currently. If every 7th kid in America knew what FaZe Clan is, they would literally be... I don't even know how much they would be worth. They would be literally worth billions. They would be the Star Wars franchise, but in the good old days. You know? That's how much they would be worth. Some of these evaluations, these estimates, these things that these people believe are just absolutely, completely out of... Well, ignorance, yeah. A good way to put it is ignorance, because these people have no experience, right? You know, most of those people who made these organizations, well, a lot of them just got approached by other people and they said, hey, I'm gonna help you make this, you're gonna be that, you're gonna be the face, you're gonna be still the majority owner, but, you know, I'm gonna get 40% now or something like that. That's a lot of situations that happen here. It's insane. These people know so little about business in general.
you can't just immediately, you know, just like fucking loot and scoot.
You guys might as well be in on it.
Oh, by the way, most of the time there 100% though will be a clause that says you cannot instantaneously leave and start your brand all over it again and be a competitor to us. Yeah, that's not allowed most of the cases, though. That is, though, in a lot of contracts.
The biggest change is in reporting. No one will report directly into me anymore. If there's an issue with salary transparency, or the snacks in the lunchroom, or the warranty on the backpack, or whatever.
Understandable.
I promise you, I give you my personal guarantee. Trust me, bro. Whatever it is, there is somebody else who's in charge of that, and that is by design. Yvonne and I have laid out a clear set of guidelines for how we want this company handled. with integrity and compassion, people first.
It makes no sense in the first place that people would actually complain to the CEOs about stuff like this.
Smart, because like it's just, I remember there was drama. I remember there was some sort of drama about like employee salaries with Linus. I remember this was like 2 or 3 months ago. I didn't really read into it or look into it or anything like that, but I think it's definitely, it's like whenever you're a public figure that's running a company that's very public, that kind of stuff can be like really damaging. Wasn't it unions? I have no idea what the specifics are. I'm just saying that like, and the problem is that oftentimes people can misrepresent things, and whenever they do misrepresent something like that, it can be, it doesn't even really matter who's right, because people want the person who's in charge to be wrong.
That's such a cop-out.
We want to make strong investments in building something that's going to continue to offer growth opportunities to everyone who's part of our team. Beyond that, though, the buck stops with the new CEO. I'm not going to be stepping in to undermine him. And this is a big shift that's going to mean we're all going to need to break some really
This is
old
not
habits.
going to work,
With that
most
out of the way, then,
likely.
Yeah.
Who the hell is this guy, right? The keen-eyed among you might have noticed that the picture I showed you is actually from the roast a few years back. So
Is this the guy?
This isn't your first exposure to Mr. Taran Tong. He was my boss when I worked at NCIX, which
What is
makes him kind of
NCIX?
uniquely qualified for this position because managing me is a challenging task. I am everywhere. Even
Yeah, the
mo-
rest of that dude's hair is gonna be gray in like 2 years. Guaranteed.
most skilled of administrators
Probably.
struggled
Let's be
with it.
real.
And he's one of the only people to ever successfully do that and teach me. He, and I mean, if I'm being honest, really, one of our other colleagues, begrudging shout out to Jack.
How much you sell for? I don't think he really sold it. I think that really it's just that effectively Linus is still the owner. He still owns the company. He
What's
still
the-
ultimately can make decisions as the owner, as the ownership of the company. However, he's effectively hiring somebody to run all of the day-to-day operations.
Yes.
Because he wants to focus more on making content and deciding the direction of the company. Yeah, he's not selling. He just hired a new CEO. Like, this is actually like,
Yep.
it's like you're basically hiring a, it's like in Game of Thrones. It's like the Hand of the King, you know? That's probably the best example I could use.
That's probably the worst example. I don't think the Hand of the King does actually anything. He's just the Hand of the King is just an advisor, I'm pretty sure. They don't do anything but advise.
Like Darth Vader. Yeah, it's like he can be Sidious, and you've got to hire Darth Vader.
That's better, probably.
The two of them taught me most of what I know about business, both what to do and what not.
Oh, actually, by the way, I was thinking, considering Linus Tech Tips has 15 million subs, I thought that he honestly has like 30 or 40. So, he probably will not make it to 2 billion. You know, 1 and something. Probably not even a half. It depends on how good his other companies are, how much prospects there are. But he probably will not make it to 2 billion on a serious, JP Morgan offer.
Not to do. Shout out Jack. In the years since his departure from NCIX, Taran has done stints at Corsair and Dell, both of which have been successful.
Corsair
enough
is
that they've
horrible.
thwarted
Dell
all
is losing money like a complete wow.
of my previous attempts to hire him. Seriously, since pretty much day one, I've been looking for an excuse for us to work together again, and every single time I would talk to him, he was worth so much more than the last time that I'd go, damn it, I guess
Oh
we're-"
yeah, by the way, yeah, somebody brought this up in chat. Totally right. Elon's doing this now with Twitter. Reddit did this about 10 years ago with this woman, Ellen Pao, and they made her make a lot of bad decisions, and then after they made all the bad decisions, they blamed it all on her, and then they fired her. So it's like, just,
Wait,
like,
I don't
It
know
is what it
about
is,
the Reddit
right?
stuff.
I got scapegoat. Yeah, I remember like a lot of things that she said I didn't like. Like there were a lot of things that she did I didn't like. But like at the end of the day, I'm not going to go and blame her whenever the same guys are on the board of directors. Like the CEO does what the board of directors tell them to. So it's like I could get
Not actually accurate.
mad like, oh yeah, I don't like her personal opinion on something, but like really if there's like a site-wide change, this is probably going through them and not her.
Not really ready for this yet, but now that the deal is inked, I'm really excited. I'm excited to work with my friend again. I'm excited to have a steady hand that I can trust on the tiller of this ship. A second steady hand. I haven't forgotten about Yvonne, who's the only reason I've lasted this long at all. And I'm also excited about the mentorship that he can provide to me again, and also to the rest of our team. We are headed into a really exciting new chapter, guys. Better videos, better products, new investments that are going to
How do you know?
Just the primo source of tech information on the web. I'm sure of it. Now, I don't want to say too much more about him for now. Once he's onboarded, I'm sure he's going to want to prepare a little thing to talk to you guys about. You know, it'd be kind of fun. Should I interview him? Is that as funny as I think it is? You know, it doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. In the meantime, I can assure you that he is zero bullshit. He's a super hardworking guy with great attention to detail, and not only.
Well, I mean, if Intel and AMD and these other places are trying to hire this dude, I mean, like, obviously, I mean, I think that really bringing in somebody with like more industry knowledge and industry expertise, because like obviously like Linus and probably a lot of the people that are like in like the leadership are probably like, I can't really speak to this, but I would assume a lot of them probably don't have as much like industry insider information, right? And not insider information as in like, you know, Martha Stewart insider trading Enron, but I mean just insider knowledge in how things work inside of the industry of tech and business in tech.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is gonna be probably a hot take for some of you not really too gifted people, but Linus Tech Tips is not actually a tech channel, you know? The decisions they make are not tech related. They understand tech, they are capable of reviewing tech, they understand what's happening, they understand what's hot, but they are not a tech firm, they're not a tech industry. And this is what I instantaneously think. Okay, so that guy has worked in high positions, probably has an actual his CV probably is like a high-grade person's CV, aka, by the way, this is what I mean by high-grade CV. If you have a high-grade CV, you have a company, and you have a list of things that you did in this company, and a list of profits that your actions got in this company. That's a high-grade CV. That guy probably has a high-grade CV, you know? But Linus Tech Tips is not that kind of company. I don't honestly know what the CEO of a tech company is supposed to do. Most of the time, completely not my field. My field is finances. But there's probably almost zero overlap with something like Linus Tech Tips. That is a YouTube channel about informing people about MacGuffins. His mindset most likely is, well, we better probably hide what's currently not going swell currently here, okay? That's most likely his mindset, honestly. So this is going to be interesting. Because not every CEO can just replace another CEO in another industry. That doesn't happen. And when it happens, for example, again, Magic the Gathering is a great example, with current leader Cynthia Cox of, you know, she sold cigarettes before becoming the CEO of Wizards of the Coast, or what Hasbro or whatever she is. She sold cigarettes, and now she doesn't even know what she's selling. Obviously, she's not capable of making decisions. So the question is the guy who's going to be the CEO now actually understand what Linus' business is about? Because it's not tech. Linus Tech Tips is not tech as a business. They review tech and they talk about it, which is severely different than making it, branding it, or doing whatever with it.
Experience in the computer industry. He actually has a background in media as well. He formerly wrote at NeoSeeker, if you want to go dig up some of his old articles.
Oh, that means nothing. Okay. I almost thought he completely ruined my
Sorry for turning your
speech.
introduction here into this segue to our sponsor. Micro Center. This summer marks the opening of their first store in 8 years in Indianapolis with
Well, I don't want to hear about this unless it's in Texas. Where's the fucking Austin one? Closest Micro Center we have is in fucking Dallas. Fucking Houston.
Is that like
They
a
shut
big
down
thing in
Fry's
America?
and now we don't have anything.
Okay.
Fuck.
2 more stores set to open by 2025. And if you visit the Indianapolis store, you
I've
can
never
get
been to
a
a Micro
free
Center.
128 gig flash drive just for stopping by. If you want to shop online, you can still take advantage of the
Bruh! Free stuff!
$25 discount that they have on all processors for all new customers. During May, Micro Center is featuring desktop deals all month long with pre-built desktops available for purchase. And if you prefer to build your own PC, Micro Center has you covered with a wide range of PC parts and knowledgeable associates to help you with your build. You can even use their online PC Builder tool to ensure compatibility and to get your parts in store in just 18 minutes. If you're proud of your
Okay.
build, submit it to their build showcase for a chance to receive a coupon for your next in-store purchase. With over 25 stores across the US, Micro Center offers amazing selection and prices on laptops, computer components, monitors, TVs, networking equipment,
Okay.
and more.
I feel like this is like going to a strip club if you're a nerd. You know, like going to Fry's is like...
See, this is why nerds get bullied. It's not because they like nerdy shit, but because they understand all of this completely useless garbage dribble. Just have a friend that knows how these things work, and if you need something, just ask them, and it's easy. You don't even need to understand. Like I don't know any of this, and absolutely zero problems. You know why? Because I have social skills. Yeah. Imagine that. I can just ask people who understand these things to help me out, and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, bruh, I got you, bruh."
That was basically like the best thing that you could do. I really wish they would make one of these in Austin. I don't know how they don't have one.
And if you need service and repairs, they have a
Theft.
dedicated department to help you with that as well. So why wait? Visit Micro Center today or click the link in the description to see why they're the go-to destination for all your tech needs. If you guys want some more
25
context
total
for this
stores?
big change,
That
I would
sounds like
suggest
it's
time
checking
for
out the
26.
I'm thinking of retiring stream.
Yeah,
I
it
still
looks
can't
like it.
watch it just to find the timestamps.
Okay,
for what I
closing thoughts, Asmon, go.
put in the video earlier. I had to just download a transcript. It's just rough, but it might give you guys a better idea of the headspace that ultimately led me to give up the reins so that I can focus just on my love of tech and bringing you guys the best content that I can.
Yeah, I think this is an incredibly good decision for him, and it's probably going to make their company a lot more successful too.
For the
As they say, not every leader is a CEO, but every CEO must be a leader.
Like just in general, I think this is a very good decision. Because like obviously there's some people that really like doing the business stuff, some people that really
Yep.
like doing the creative stuff, some
Yep.
people that really like doing the production stuff.
Yep.
And like if he feels like he's getting overwhelmed, like for me, like I'll give you an example, right? A lot of people always ask me like, don't you get stressed out having to stream every day? No, I look forward to it because I like it. So you need to find somebody that feels that same way about the thing that you get stressed out about, and then they do that, you do what you do, you put your fucking forces together, and you've got a team. So, you don't stream in your main, though? Yeah, well, I mean, it's again, like, I find a way, though, for it to work for me, right? Even though it's not exactly, the ideal situation. So I think that that's a very good idea. You'd find somebody to do everything that isn't playing games? Yeah, it's just that simple, man.
That's actually true. That's actually true. What one very underrated thing is, I can give crap about Asmongold a lot, but one thing that he did do right, which most people, a lot of people, yeah, most people I should say, most people don't do or even try to acknowledge, is the fact that if you are the CEO, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to know everything, you don't need to do everything, you don't need to understand everything. You need to be able to just rely on other people to do a good enough job. And that's very important. And it seems like Linus completely was incapable of doing that. Very interesting. Well, we're gonna see how it goes. It's probably gonna be relatively rough in the first couple of months at the very minimum, because it is a little bit hard. Well, it's not a little bit, it's a lot hard. It's a lot hard to be someone who decides everything, is the boss, and suddenly you are no longer that, and you no longer, there's gonna be clashes. If that CEO is as good as Linus is saying, then that CEO is going to clash with Linus. That should happen. That is 100% something that should happen. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, by the way. But that should happen. And it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Which we will only see if Asmon watches that video, because I am never watching a Linus Tech Tips video in my life, because I don't want to bore myself to death, you know?